ただいま。行ってきます。ただいま。どれにしよっかな。えい。どれにしよっかな。えい。何を置こうかな。どれにしよっかな。えい。どうしようかな。
お店開けますよ。
ごめんあそばせ。そうなんだ。そうなんだ。
こんにちは。
いらっしゃいませ。こんにちは。ありがとうございました。いらっしゃいませ。いくらにしようかな。ありがとうございました。売れたよ。こんにちは。いくらにしようかな。ありがとうございました。売れたよ。こんにちは。
ね。
どれにしようかな。何を置こうかな。行ってきます。ただいま。どうしようかな。
お店開けますよ。うわ。参ったな。
いらっしゃいませ。
そんなこと。
いらっしゃいませ。
こういうのを探してるんだけど。
これなんかどうでしょう。
分かってるわね。
いくらにしようかな。
本当に？
ありがとうございました。売れたよ。いらっしゃいませ。いくらにしようかな。ありがとうございました。売れたよ。どれにしようかな。どうしようかな。行ってきます。ただいま。どうしようかな。開店するよ。いらっしゃいませ。
いいわね。何でしょうか。え？またね。
いらっしゃいませ。ごめんあそばせ。いくらにしようかな。
そうですわね。
ありがとうございました。買い取ったよ。いらっしゃいませ。 しょう。いくらにしようかな。ありがとうございました。売れたよ。こんにちは。ね。これなんかどうでしょう。いいよ。いくらにしようかな。ありがとうございました。売れたよ。
So I just created this dope website with Wix. Let me show you how I did it.
RPG Maker MV. It's a thing that lets you make RPGs quite easily. So let's get straight into it. To create your own RPG, step 1 is to go create a new project. So let's go to the top left of this little blank place right here and click on this little piece of paper. So click and boom. So now we gotta create a new project. Step 1, name the folder. Since you can't really change the name of the folder after it's created, you have to make sure this is something that really consistently remains a label that can actually make sense for your project. So let's call it First RPG Ever. And then next is a game title. Now, unlike the folder name, alright, so here we are back in town, Ruby. Hello, you random person. I see this guy's still doing his cool little thing. That's awesome and all. And hey, hello, man. How are you doing? We need doors. We need doors. So like, I think we need doors. So like to start off, I guess we should first create an actual room to be used as the inside of one of these buildings. So let's get straight into that. So if you recall, when we create a new map, we go up here and we click New Map. But we're not going to do that this time. Instead, we're going to do something else. We're going to go to one of these maps right here. We're going to right click on it and we can still do New Map. So let's do it. And let's create a new map from on top of the Town 1 map. Let's name it Town 1 Room 1 for whatever reason. And we will hit OK. And now when we do that, we'll find that, hey, this map is sort of underneath our Town 1 map. And we can actually close and expand it using a plus and minus sign right there. So this is happening because each map in our little map editor section right here can actually function as a folder. So it's not only a map, it's a folder map. Yay! So that's how it pretty much works. So I would recommend whenever you create like a town or maybe a dungeon, you'd probably want to make one map, the base map, then all of the succeeding maps, such as rooms, doors, second floors, etc., are all sub-maps stored within the main map. So you can make your map little thing organized. Because you know, when you actually create a real game, it's going to easily have up to maybe 60, 70, or maybe even 100 maps. And you're going to want to have some way to keep things organized, even if you are only pretending. So, to do so, you will make these little folders. And for this example, we'll be putting all of the town house rooms inside our Town 1 map folder thingy. So, let's click on our Town 1 Room 1, and let us just simply create a really quick map. So, I forgot to also go back in here. Let's set it so the tile set is going to be inside. So, it's going to be doing the inside of a house. We'll hit OK. We'll click on one of these random inside tile sets, select the ceiling. We'll just surround the entire thing real quickly. Oh, and then we'll do like the ground with like this tile set. We'll do a little boop, and then we'll do a little exit part right here. And we'll just call that our little thing for now. We'll also make a wall at the side, so yay. It's gonna be a really quick, simple little house room thingy. So let's make a door that goes into our room right here. So let's go back to Town 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to go into event mode. We're going to make a door for, say, this house right here. And once again, the door is going to be just a simple quick event. So right click, quick event creation, and the door. So we'll get to choose a door image. We'll have a whole list of all these door images. So door 1 or door 2 is our files. Just stick with door 1, select one of these doors, say this door right here. Choose a location it's going to put us to, so we're going to be put into Town 1, Room 1 on this tile right here. We're going to hit OK, and it will be perfect to go. So finally, let's go to Town 1, Room 1. Let's go here. Let's right click and create another quick event creation. Go to transfer. This time we'll transfer back to outside. So right here, we'll be looking downward, and we'll hit OK. Now, let's actually go and test out our door. And so let's go down here, and we'll find our door perfectly positioned right here. Let's go inside, and we'll find, hey, we're in our room now. And now we can go back outside simply walking this little space, and yay, we're back outside. And yeah, it's actually that simple. Now, here's a few tips for creating doors. As you may notice in the tutorial in which I actually created this map, I added all these like black spaces right here. You can find these in the second B, and you gotta find them right here. So like this one, this one, this one, this one, and you want to choose one that corresponds to the type of door you're using. So if you use this rounder one, as you see right here, you could say put this right here instead of that thing. So, boop, that is not going away. I'm doing something wrong. What is going on? Please help me. Okay, there we go. Boom. And then we can go and create one of the rounder doors. So, quick event creation. Oh, door. And we'll choose the round one this time, like this. Hit OK, because we don't care. And it's done. So, that's what you'd want to do for that. Also, what you want to keep in mind is that if you want to make, say, a door that you can open by pushing an action key instead of just touching it, you'd click action button. Yay! If you want to make a door that actually makes it so that when you transfer, you look in a certain direction, we just go into the bottom transfer event, select the direction to down, left, up, right, whatever you wish. Click on that. We can customize our fade by clicking that, and we are good to go. And that's really all there is for making doors. And that's really all you really need to do for making a town. Just set up all the doors, set up all the NPCs, create all the rooms, make them more detailed than this. You should be able to figure it out, don't worry. And that's all for this tutorial. RPG Maker tutorial end. So here we have it, our original first NPC. And if we go in here, we'll find that, hey, here's our image. And if you recall correctly, we can go through all these images and we can select whatever person we want to use for our NPC. Furthermore, if we go to this text right here and go to our face image, we also have an assortment of faces we can use. But all of these are the default faces. And what if you want to create your own? Alright, time for the most important part of creating an RPG with RPG Maker MV, which is the battles. So here's how common events work. It's very simple. Just click on one of these places right here, add number 1, give it a name, my common event, like that. Set the trigger to none. We're gonna keep that at none for this time. And then just go into the contents and do a thing like, this is a thing. Yeah, there we go. There's our common event. Now, let's learn what we can do with this common event. One thing we can do is actually call this common event from within another event. So, for example, let's go here and let's actually create a new event. So, we'll take this person, copy, paste them. Let's give a new image, such as people take away all this weird stuff. And instead, we'll call a common event. So, all you have to do is go into tab 1 and go down to common event, select your common event, and boom, that's all that happens. Now, this common event will be played when this event runs. And when we go talk to the event, this is a thing. There we go, the common event is playing. And that's really all there is to it. And you're thinking, well, what's the point of this? It seems pretty useless. All you're doing is just calling another event from somewhere else. And the reason you want to do this for certain things is for repetitiveness. To have an easy access point to manipulate a large amount of events that repeat like times and stuff. So here's an example. Say, for example, every time the player obtains an item, you want a certain sound effect to play, like a good sound effect, like a chime or something. But let's say, I don't know, you want to change that chime. Well, the thing is that if you play the sound effect every time you get an item, you have to go back throughout your entire game and look for every moment where you can obtain an item and change that sound effect. Or you can call a common event whenever you obtain the item, and that common event plays the sound effect. Then, if you want to change the sound effect or add other features to when you get an item, all you gotta do is change the common event itself, and you're pretty much good to go. And that's one of the most basic things you can do with common events. Just simply have one basic function that you repeat multiple times, so you have an easy, accessible point for you to manipulate this single function. However, common events actually have secondary functions, and that's to be called from skills and items. So for example, let's go to one of the item rights here. Let's go to our super potion, and let's set it so in the effects, we'll go to other tab, common event, and call our common event right here. And this means whenever this potion is used, super potion, it's going to call our common event. So now I've set it so this NPC gives us our super potion. So got the super potion. Now when we go into our items, use our super potion. We're gonna use it on T. Now the common event will actually be played saying this is the thing. So let's get another super potion. Let's go run around over here. Go town maybe. Go wherever we want to go. Oh, there's a cutscene playing. Yeah, whatever. Cool. So, good item. Use it on T again. And once again, the common event is going to play. So this can be used in a lot of different creative ways. So let's say, for example, we have Lucius right here, which is actually not a member of our party yet. Let's actually make an item that adds Lucius to our party. So to do so, let's go to our common event and actually just do change party member, Lucius, add, and initialize. And this will make it so when we use the item, it'll add Lucius to our party. Let's also rename the item to summon Lucius. I have no idea if I spelled that correctly. We'll set the damage to none since we're not going to be doing any damage, just summoning him. And we'll set this icon to be something like this right here, the potatoes, because Lucius is a potato. And let's also set the scope to none so it automatically plays. And now with our brand new summon Lucius item, we'll use it and boom! Lucius is now in our party because we used the item and there he is. And of course, since the item is consumable, that means we can only use it once, which means we can't get like infinite Luciuses added to our party and stuff like that. Though that shouldn't be a problem anyway. Now let's actually try making an item that allows you to change your name when you use it. So now let's go to tab 3, go to name input processing. We'll set it so actor T has a maximum of 8 characters that can be input for the name. So we'll do that. Then that's pretty much all that we have to do. Just go to items, we'll set this so change name of player. And that's all you gotta do. And now once again, if we go into our items, go to our change name of player item thingy, it'll call the common event, which will allow us to change the name of T. So we'll just call her A. Hit OK, and boom, now our new name is A. All because we called that common event with our new item. So as you can see, while there is a limited amount of stuff you can do with items, if you combine it with common events, you have pretty much limitless amount of powers you can use and stuff. And that's really all for this tutorial. But don't worry, we have much more to do with common events, such as these fun triggers right here. I can hardly wait to get into those. So yeah, that's all for now. Until next time, RPG Maker tutorial ends.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
I write a letter when I have a crush. There are 5 total. Josh, Kenny, Lucas, John Ambrose, and Peter. But one day...
I appreciate it, but it's never gonna happen.
Oh my god.
まあ、頑張りましたね。おはようございます。
This as an opportunity to show people who you really are. You never know what could happen. That's what I'm afraid of.
To all the boys I've loved before. Only on Netflix.
So far, we've learned how common events without a trigger work. They can either be called within another event, or through a skill or item in battle, or on the map. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at this thing right here, the trigger and the auto run and parallel triggers. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with auto run. The way it works is quite simple. If an event has a trigger set to auto run, that means it's automatically going to run and pause all other movement and other events while it's running. Same thing occurs with parallel. Only difference is the player has the capability to move around, and other events can play during a parallel running event. So as you can imagine, it's going to be pretty simple. If you set a common event to be auto run, when this switch right here is true, this auto run common event will play the contents in here. So for example, let's make the switch right here common event 1, like that. And then it'll be the contents of this common event just be, this is common event 1, like that. So what's going to happen is, when this switch is true, it's going to trigger our auto run event to automatically run, which is going to call our common event, which is going to be right here. Common event 1, like that. Now the thing is, that common event can actually occur at any moment on your map, as long as that switch is true. So for example, let's create another event and just give it some random image like this. Let's go up here and set it so the switch which we had for the common event, so going to be common event 1 switch. Let's turn it on like that. And now when we talk to this event right here, it'll turn the switch on, which will then allow that common event to play. So as you can see here, if we talk to this event right here and turn on that common event switch, boom, the common event will now play, and then play, and then play, and then play, because the thing that's happening is, the switch isn't turning off. So that auto run event is going to happen over and over and over and over again until that switch is removed. So a good thing to keep in mind when you do use an auto run common event is make sure you have some sort of way to make it so the switch turns off. So we just set it so common event 1, switch is turned off at the end, so we'll run once, then turn the switch off. But now I'm going to be completely honest. This form of common event is actually not that very useful. You see, the thing is that a normal common event will still like restrict the player's movement when it occurs, and the only real purpose of this is having some sort of looping event, which you can only create using the looping event from eventing. But that's the reason why we're going to be focusing on this next thing right here, the parallel trigger, which, as you know, will make this common event run in the background of the game instead of restricting the player's movement and making it the primary event. Now, there's actually quite a bit of things you can do with a parallel common event, because you can do a whole ton of stuff without having to like stop your player from moving, stop other events from occurring. It just occurs at the background of your game. So for example, let's do something like, I don't know, control variables, set it so, we'll create a new variable called seconds, and we'll set it so we're adding a second every time this common event plays. So we're adding 1 second. And this should make it so, while this is in the background of the game, while your movement will not be stopped, this event will continue to add a second or 1 value to our variable called seconds. Once again, let's create another event. We'll put them right here for this example. Let's give them a new image, and this person will give us a value of our variable ID2. So to do so, you can go to show text and do the value of variable, oh, I have caps lock on, 2 is, and then use the code \v and then the ID of the variable. So for example, variable ID2, and this will be replaced with the value of the variable. Anyway, now when we play our game, let's go to this person. He'll say the value of variable 2 is 0, because variable 2 isn't increasing right now. But let's go over to this guy and turn on the switch. Now the switch is turned on. So when we go back to this guy, we'll see that, hey, the variable is now 242. And that's because every frame that common event is running in the background, making it so that variable is increased. So as you can see, it's increasing pretty fast. It's going at 808, it's going to be at 904, 1001, and that variable just keeps increasing. So if you did want to create a time system, what you could actually do is use a wait event. So we'll go to the second tab, go to wait, and set it to 60 frames, which will make it so what's going to happen is first, this occurs, then it's going to wait for 60 frames, then it's going to repeat, add another 1 to seconds, then it's going to wait 60 frames. So what it's going to do is it's going to make so every frame, or I mean every second, 1 is going to be added to our variable called seconds. And now as you can see, when we go turn on the switch and then we go interact with this guy, the value will be actually a lot lower. It's at 2, it's at 5, it's at 6. It's not going up as extremely fast as it was before, because now it's counting seconds instead of frames, because now it's being interrupted with 1 wait event. But even though there is a wait event occurring, we can still move around, because it's occurring within a parallel event instead of like a normal auto run or normal event. Now let's say, for example, we want to create a time system that makes it so the tint of the screen changes based on what second it's currently on. So for example, we can go to a conditional branch on tab 1, check to see the value of the variable. So if my seconds is equal to, I don't know, 10 like that, we can actually tint the screen. So for example, we'll go down to tab 2, go to tint screen, and set a different tint than normal. So we'll do sunset for this example, and we'll just set it so it has a wait for completion, 60 frame duration. Now that may have been a little fast, but let's see what happens. First we'll turn on the common event, and now if we wait for a bit, we'll find that the screen will turn to a sunset typed tint after 10 seconds. So wait for it, let's check see how many seconds there are. 10, and there we have it. The immediate moment it turned to 10 seconds, the screen tinted to a different color. And that's because during one of the repeats that occurred from this common event, it saw that, hey, seconds is equal to 10, so now let's tint this screen. And it's really that simple. Now, of course, there's a lot of crazy weird stuff you can actually do with this, because once again, this allows you to have parallel stuff occurring in the background that does not restrict the event motion or the player movement. So let's do another example. Let's say, for example, let's do a conditional branch. So conditional branch, let's say if, I don't know, actor T, for example, has the state of, I guess, silence, like that. What we can do is actually make it so, if this is true, T will be afflicted with an animation. So if we go to tab 2, we can use the event show animation to show an animation on the player, for example. So we'll do on the player, we use the animation, I don't know, hit thunder, for example, and wait for completion. So what's going to happen is, this thing's going to repeat. So if we're going to check to see if T is hit by silence, if T is, that means you're going to play the thunder animation on T. It's going to wait for it to complete, then it's going to reach the end. Then it's going to repeat and check again. So now, let's once again create another event. And this event is going to make it so T has our silence state. So for example, we'll go back to tab 1, we'll go to change state, we'll make it so T has added the silence state like that. And that makes it so when talking to this person, T will be given the silence state. So first, let's actually turn on the common event. So we'll just talk to this person. Now the common event is now active. Now if we give T the actual state, which was silence, Boom, there we have it. That animation is being repeatedly played on T since they have the silence animation, as you can see also right here with this icon on T's little actor status. Now, I forgot to actually make an event to turn off this thing, but I guess, yeah, here it is. Pretty beautiful, right? And that's what you can accomplish with all these crazy little common events that have parallel processes. As you can see, even during a separate eventing process, it still occurs because it's a parallel process. Yeah, that's all for now. If you enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up. You should subscribe. We're going to do other stuff later. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. This video is weird. If you have any ideas what you can do with parallel processing with your common events, leave them in the comments below. And that's all for this tutorial. Until next time, RPG Maker tutorial ends. In 1 second. And this should make it so, while this is in the background of the game, while your movement will not be stopped, this event will continue to add a second, or one value, to our variable called seconds. Once again, let's create another event. We'll put them right here for this example. Let's give them a new image, and this person will give us a value of our variable ID 2. So to do so, you can go to show text and do the value of variable, oh, I have caps lock on, 2, is, and then use the code \D and then the ID of the variable. So for example, variable ID 2, and this will be replaced with the value of the variable. Anyway, now when we play our game, let's go to this person. He'll say the value of variable 2 is 0, because variable 2 isn't increasing right now. Let's go over to this guy and turn on the switch. Now the switch is turned on. So when we go back to this guy, we'll see that, hey, the variable is now 242, and that's because every frame that common event is running in the background, making it so that variable is increased. So as you can see, it's increasing pretty fast. It's going at 808, it's going to be at 904, 1001, and that variable just keeps increasing. So if you did want to create a time system, what you could actually do is use a wait event. So we'll go to the second tab, go to wait, and set it to 60 frames, which make it so what's going to happen is first, this occurs. Then it's going to wait for 60 frames. Then it's going to repeat. Add another 1 to seconds. Then it's going to wait 60 frames. So what's going to do is it makes so every frame, or I mean every second, 1 is going to be added to our variable called seconds. And now as you can see, when we go turn on the switch and then we go interact with this guy, the value will be actually a lot lower. It's at 2, it's at 5, it's at 6. It's not going up as extremely fast as it was before, because now it's counting seconds instead of frames, because now it's being interrupted with one wait event. But even though there is a wait event occurring, we can still move around because it's occurring within a parallel event instead of like a normal auto run or normal event. Now let's say, for example, we want to create a time system to make it so the tint of the screen changes based on what second it's currently on. So for example, we can go to a conditional branch on tab 1, check to see the value of the variable. So if my seconds is equal to, I don't know, 10 like that, we can actually tint the screen. So for example, we'll go down to tab 2, go to tint screen, and set a different tint than normal. So we'll do sunset for this example. And we'll just set it so it has a wait for completion, 60 frame duration. Now that may have been a little fast, but let's see what happens. First we'll turn on the common event. And now if we wait for a bit, we'll find that the screen will turn to a sunset typed tint after 10 seconds. So wait for it, let's check see how much seconds there are. 10, and there we have it. The immediate moment it turned to 10 seconds, the screen tinted to a different color. And that's because during one of the repeats that occurred from this common event, it saw that, hey, seconds is equal to 10, so now let's tint this screen. And it's really that simple. Now, of course, there's a lot of crazy, weird stuff you can actually do with this, because once again, this allows you to have parallel stuff occurring in the background that does not restrict the event motion or the player movement. So let's do another example. Let's say, for example, let's do a conditional branch. So conditional branch, let's say if, I don't know, actor T, for example, has the state of, I guess, silence, like that. What we can do is actually make it so, if this is true, T will be afflicted with an animation. So if we go to tab 2, we can use the event show animation to show an animation on the player, for example. So we'll do on the player, we use the animation, I don't know, hit thunder, for example, and wait for completion. So what's going to happen is, this thing is going to repeat. So if we're going to check see if T is hit by silence, if she is, that means you're going to play the thunder animation on T. It's going to wait for it to complete, then it's going to reach the end. Then it's going to repeat and check again. So now, let's once again create another event. And this event is going to make it so T has our silence state. So for example, we'll go back to tab 1, we'll go to change the state, we'll make it so T has added the silence state like that, and that makes it so when talking to this person, T will be given the silence state. So first, let's actually turn on the common event. So we'll just talk to this person. Now the common event is now active. Now if we give T the actual like state, which was silence, boom, there we have it. That animation is being repeatedly played on T since they have the silence animation, as you can see also right here with this icon on T's little actor status. Now, I forgot to actually make an event to turn off the thing, but I guess, yeah, here it is. Pretty beautiful, right? And that's what you can accomplish with all these crazy little common events that have parallel processes. As you can see, even during a separate eventing process, it still occurs because it's a parallel process. And yeah, that's all for now. If you enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up. You should subscribe. We're gonna do other stuff later. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome. This video is weird. If you have any ideas what you could do with parallel processing with your common events, leave them in the comments below. And that's all for this tutorial. Until next time, RPG Maker tutorial ends.
Sama-sama menjejak mimpi, sama-sama mencari dan menanti segalanya.